Hi guys, welcome to another video of practical troubleshooting series. So today we are troubleshooting a web server for which my clients are seeing high latencies and intermittent failures. Now let's see what is happening. So as you can see, I have a server and a client running already. And what is happening right now, I actually have a watcher process running that monitors the web server continuously and it makes sure that it is always running. If web server for some reason went unhealthy or cannot serve the request, it will issue a restart on it, right? And the client is just a dumb client making requests directly to the web server. Nothing special over here. Now you can see there is a linear growth in the latencies over here. With every request, I can see the latency rises by some extent. And finally, my server goes unreachable. And at the same time, my watcher issues a restart on the server. Now I have some idea what is happening. My server is going away or is not responding intermittently. So, as a very first step of troubleshooting, access into the server and check for uptime. You'll notice these values over here. It is 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute average. You have to compare this load average value with the number of cores you have on this particular machine. You can get that info from procfs and you can graph for cores over here. Now you can see I have 1 core on this machine and load average is of 0.70. So it is fine. I'm not short on CPUs until yet, maybe. Let's check uptime again, and 0.5 to that is fine as well. I'm not like short on CPUs. Another useful command, qstop. Get the complete view of the system. Have a look at CPU utilization, memory utilization, swap space, whatever you can. How much info you can extract from this output. Now I can see my CPU is trending at 86% for some user process, and that is fine. The web server is running. It is expected. It will take utilization, right, for sure. Memory usage fine as well. Like we have around 2.5 GB free. That seems fine as well. Load average nothing that much. Process Python 3 is taking. You can press C and get the idea which command exactly that is. So it is my server.py. It is taking some 4.6% of memory and 50% of CPU. That is fine as well. Another useful command that you can use is htop. Htop is really useful as compared to top because it will use some visualization mechanism and give you a better idea about CPU and memory usage. Like you can suspect usage or patterns more clearly. So I can see I have some around like some memory usage and some CPU usage over there, but this seems fine as well. The server is running and it is taking resources. That is not an issue. What else we can check? We can check VMstat. VMstat is another great tool that you can use to get a memory level idea. This is a really common question that is being asked in the SRE interviews, like explain VMstat output. So if you have a look at these fields, it is number of running process, number of block process, swap space, free memory, buffer, cache, swap in, swap out, block in, block out, and all of these parameters that we discussed in the top output, if you remember from that video, right? Then if I notice running process, it is fine. I have just one process in the running queue, 2 process, that is fine as well. Free memory, it is reducing, but it is fine. I think it is legit because server is running, it is taking resources. Nothing special over there as well. Now, but what is wrong? We have checked everything, we cannot find anything, and server is going away intermittently. Another useful thing that you can see check over here are the logs, but I don't have any logging enabled for my web application. So what else we can do? If you are an SRE, or a software engineer, I can bet you are really familiar with the monitoring, or at least have some idea what monitoring is. Monitoring is when you do collect some value, some samples from your server on a timely basis and project them in some graph. Make a time series like representation or something. So if I check the graphs for this particular VM for memory usage, I found this. What is happening right now? My server, so this is for available free memory. So you can notice these dips. It went some really low value, then again it reaches to the complete value. And these spikes are happening as the server is running. They happen around every minute, or every 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It is repeating itself. Now, what is happening? Like here, some prior knowledge comes into picture. Like I have seen this thing before, that when something like this happen, it is usually the case that a process is taking more memory than my system can allocate. And in this case, what happens in Linux, out of memory killer kicks in and it will kill the process. How do I make sure that this is the case? There are some logs. From syslog, I can actually check if the OOM killer is killing anything. So I'll go to war. and I'll go to logs, then syslog, and from over there I can grep for something like killed, and I just need few entries, so I'll do it. Okay, nothing over here as well. Do a out of case thing. -I is for case insensitive matching. So you can see that yeah, it is the case. Out of memory killer is killing Python process because it is taking more memory than my system can allocate. Now we are sure this is the case. But another question comes in: how do we know which part of the process is causing it? What should I tell to my developers that hey, this is the case? How do I issue a fix if I don't know where the issue is coming from in the code itself? What else I can do is I can profile my Python process and see how much memory which particular thing, like which particular section of the code is using. If you are aware of flame graphs, as I discussed in my previous video, it is the same thing. Flame graphs, but just for memory. So now what we can do is, firstly, we need to sample the memory stack for this particular process. For that, we can use a fill profiler, but I cannot attach the profiler directly to the process, so I have to stop it. And just a piece of advice over here: if you are dealing with a production server, never ever kill the process directly. Do all this profiling, all this testing in a testing environment. And even when you are tackling the interviews for this SRE or any role whatsoever, never ever say in the interview that you're gonna kill a process on a production server. That's not gonna create a good impression for sure. Cool. So let's profile the process. Part 3, high memory. I have server.py over here. So I have to run server.py with the fill profiler this time. And you can see the server is running. I need to spin up the client again. Let's start the client. And now, as you can see, the client is running as well. Now we have to wait for some time, let the memory usage exceed, and when that happens, we can issue a stop. So we have to monitor the usage in real time as well. Again, SSH into the server, issue an stop around 806%. That is fine. If this rises some more, I'll kill the fill profiler. I'll get the flame graph out of it. Cool. We can do it now. So you can see I have sent a signal to fill profiler to terminate the process and save the flame graph. Cool, that is fine. We have the flame graph saved. We have to get these into the system and analyze those. So I'll exit, I'll do a SFTP on the server. Okay, sure. I'll go to fill profiler and I have the path. So this is the path. We have to get the value, we have to get this and reverse it. So there are two ways to represent the flame graph. One is the inverted and one is the simple form. For the inverted flame graphs, we even call the icicle graphs. You have to just read those upside down. Nothing much changes over there. Result and then cool. As you can see, I have these saved. So I'll exit over here. So these are the flame graphs that I have got from my server. And looking at these, I can see there are specifically two parts that are taking most of the memory utilization. First one is this for loop, and second one is this array.append. And that makes sense as well, right? Have a look at this array, this for loop line. You can see I'm creating a copy of the array. So that is like creating an entire array altogether. That is taking utilization. That makes sense. This one, array.append, I'm appending new data onto the array, so that is taking utilization as well, memory utilization. And this must be happening in the for loop, because you can see appending a single entry cannot cause this much amount of memory utilization. It must be happening multiple times. So let's have a look at the code itself and see what is happening. Now you can see in this root endpoint, what I am doing is I am appending all the data in the array again into the array, right? So what happens at each request? The size of my array increases by twice. So if this keep happening, over the time, the server, the memory utilization of the process will increase. It will keep increasing till the point where my kernel cannot allocate more memory to it. And when that happens, an out of memory killer comes into the picture and kills the process. Because if it lets the process keep growing at this rate, it can cause a server crash. Because it will reach a point when swapping starts to happen, your server will throttle down, every process on it will throttle down, right? So to prevent that, an out of memory killer will kick in and will kill the process that is taking more memory than the kernel can allocate. Basically, it is hogging resources, so it will kill the process, right? So this is a common phenomena that we called memory leak. We often see these in production apps. Like it happens, it is a quite common scenario. So this video is all about how do you troubleshoot it, how do you find workarounds, what to do and not to do. If you like the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for your time. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.